Today we're going to talk about schizoid personality disorder. Not to be confused with schizotypal. I did that video last week. If you're interested in this one, definitely watch schizotypal. They're very similar, just a slight difference. Not to be confused with schizophrenia. None of the schizos. This is schizotypal. It's a personality disorder. They're not crazy. One of the least understood disorders, often overlooked because schizoid doesn't cause any drama. It doesn't cause major problems and abuse and stuff like this. A lot of you guys wonder, why do I only meet toxic people? Because they're the extroverts out there just putting themselves out there all the time, trying to meet everybody, trying to use everybody, right? Meet new victims, targets. They disappear is what they do. And in relationships, it can be just as damaging. Just as damaging. There's 10 personality disorders. And it's amazing how much overlap there is in traits. And so many of you guys are coming across like borderline, narcissistic, histrionic, things in the cluster B. And there's, 6 more disorders in cluster A and cluster C. And there's so much overlap. You might think you know a borderline, you know a schizotypal. You might think you know a narcissist, but it's a schizoid. Things like this. They look so similar. But there's very distinct criteria to diagnose them. I'm going to just briefly go over that. The DSM-5 criteria. The DSM is what professionals use to diagnose people in the United States with mental disorders. So it's a pattern of detachment from social relationships and a restricted range of emotions. It's in the cluster A, which is weird, odd, eccentric. Like I said, I did a video on schizotypal, which is another one in cluster A. The third one is paranoid. And if you can imagine, paranoid could be kind of weird, kind of odd, kind of eccentric. And then schizotypal is ones that might dress weird, say weird things, and schizoid is the loner and chooses to be. I'll get into some examples you guys might like later. They seek attachment. Schizotypal seeks attachment. Schizoid doesn't want attachment with people. Both of them push people away unknowingly. It could be their odd, eccentric behavior. It could be their avoidance, either pushing people away, doesn't want to be with people. All kinds of different reasons. But schizotypal and schizoid are both weird, odd, and push people away. But schizotypal wants attachment. Schizoid, this one, does not. So out of these traits here, to have the disorder for schizoid, you need at least 4. Neither desires nor enjoys close relationships, even family. Doesn't want them. Almost always chooses solitary activities, to be alone. Nothing social. Little to no interest in sex with anyone, partners, people. Takes pleasure in few, if any, activities. Lacks close friends or confidants. Doesn't want them. Not a borderline who just doesn't have friends, can't form or maintain relationships. Doesn't want them. Next, last 2, appears indifferent to praise or criticism. Just rolls right off and doesn't care. I try to do that really well. It's hard. I wish I could be better at it. But I think these guys are the professionals. And the last one, emotional coldness, detachment or flattened affect. Just doesn't care. Wait till you hear the examples I have. You'll like it. Some key traits. Withdrawn, isolated, prefers fantasies, video games, reading, solitary, hobbies. Emotionally flat, blank, unreachable is what some people describe them as. Invisible needs. Do not seek validation or approval at all. Not psychotic, reality-based, not delusional. So think of like the librarian who lives alone, goes home, maybe it just has a cat, right? Is at peace, fine with that. Leave me alone. Some people have said the Joker from Batman might be schizoid. No, maybe schizotypal. Weird, odd, but he sought connection, activities, wanted to be big, popular, seen, TV, all these things. Definitely not schizoid. And that's the most common one I've heard of the Joker. It's just wrong. maybe schizotypal the Joker would be, or maybe sociopath. But the best example that most all of you have seen is Office Space, the movie. Milton. Milton Wattas. The glasses. Oh, yes, just want my stapler. Can I have my stapler? Total schizoid. Absolutely. Like, to a T. Perfect. Do you remember him? Very detached from people, doesn't care. Doesn't really need to be involved. Mumbles, doesn't make eye contact, just doesn't want it. Doesn't want you to get too close. They move his desk all over the place until they finally move it all the way down to the basement. Completely solitary, and he's fine with it. I'm working in the basement. I'm working in the basement. I just was wondering if I could have that stapler. All he cares about is the stapler. That's it. I think that's just a perfect example. I guarantee you that character would have schizoid if he is real. Some common misunderstandings, and then I'll close here. We think they're just total introverts, and it's not. It's not introversion, because I'm an introvert, and most of you guys watching this are introverts. I know this. How do I know this, you wonder? But we still like being with people. For instance, a good example of knowing if you're an extrovert or introvert is we're going to take a car trip, a car vacation, right? In our car, we're going to cross hundreds of miles, 1,000. So it's going to take a couple days maybe. The extrovert wants to just get there. Can't stand the car trip. I want to get there. That's where all the excitement is. That is the trip. The drive is the punishment. The introvert might think the car trip's the best part. And I don't necessarily want to be alone. I want my best friend next to me. That'd probably be the best thing. Best friend and my dog. Yeah, maybe a couple of my friends. But the road trip is what's the fun part. So that's an introvert. They would want to take a road trip to somewhere where there's not many people and definitely by themselves. Does that make sense? Not depressed, not necessarily shy. Just doesn't want it. The impact on relationships they have is people around them will feel invisible. There's no conflict, so they might stay. But it's so empty, cold, distant. And they're very commonly neglect their own children emotionally. That's how they were raised. Massive child neglect. They use it as a defense mechanism. They believe if nobody will be there for me, then I'll just stop needing people. They're not abusive, they're not dramatic, but empty and cold. And they do not seek help. Very common for them not to. So, if you've ever had a relationship that sounds like this, it's cold, distant, non-dramatic, it wasn't you. And you still have emotional needs that have to be met, okay? And I think anyone that's been in a relationship with someone like this can understand that, I hope. Has any of you believed that you might have been in a relationship with someone like this? Is it confusing? You're not sure? A lot of times we can determine that, yes, this person has a personality disorder because they're so rigid and it's patterns, pervasive patterns in all their life. They're always like this, but we just can't determine quite which one. So ask questions if you want to, okay, guys? Thank you. Love yourself first. Bye-bye.